Welcome to Bitcoin Summer's node setup video. Let's jump right into the parts we're going to be needing. We're going to be needing a Raspberry Pi 4. We're going to be needing a 1 terabyte SSD, a place to keep our SSD, 16 gigabyte micro SD, power supply, Ethernet cable, and then a case for our Raspberry Pi. Let's jump into it. It is incredibly inexpensive to set up your own node. I did it all for under $250 for the hardware. Software is free. And you don't have to be incredibly tech savvy as well. I will prove that in this video that anyone and everyone can set up a node at home. The most important part of the node computer that you're going to be building at home, the node station, is the Raspberry Pi 4. Basically, it's just a tiny, small computer. Very fast computer, especially for the size. It was recommended to me to get the 8 gig, not the 4 gig RAM. I'm going to be using Umbrel. There's other options out there, and I can go into detail with those as well, but it was recommended to have at least 8 for Umbrel. A couple different sources say you might be able to get by with 4, but I wanted to be safe, so I went with the 8 gig. So here are all the specs here, and let's just open it and see what's inside. Basically a credit card size computer here. We have all of our USB Ethernet inputs on the side here. Some mini USB there, looks like. Is that a headphone jack? I'm not sure. We're gonna dive into setting this all up. And that is just beautiful piece of machinery there. Okay, so next up we have our hard drive here, solid state. It was recommended to get 1 terabyte. After all, we are downloading the entire history of the Bitcoin ledger, and hopefully we won't have to upgrade this at some point. So let's take a look, and let's just take this out. This one, they want to make sure that they make it really hard to get out. Obviously some old person deterrent here. Very lightweight, solid state disk drive. All right, so next up we have where we're going to be storing our hard drive here. And that goes right in there, just like that. So next we have this EVO Select. The brand doesn't really matter, actually. It's Samsung. But make sure we get 32 gigs. I think some people do 16, but I think they said 32 is going to be safe. But this is our micro SD, and I think most of them come with this, but you do want the adapter with that. So make sure that that's coming in your package. That's how I'm going to get it into my actual desktop computer. This can actually just go straight into the Raspberry Pi, but you'll usually need this for your computer. So let's open that and see what's inside. The chip part, when you're loading it into your adapter, will be face down, like so. Vital part here is the Raspberry Pi AC adapter, USB-C actually. I have been told that you should make sure to get the Raspberry Pi brand adapter, for there has been known issues with the non-Raspberry Pi brand. All right, so the next step that we're going to be working on here is the Umbrel setup. As you can see here, we're on the getumbrel.com website, and this is the software that we'll be using for our node. It has this nice little interface here. There's a couple other companies that you can use or software, but this is the one I selected. It seems easy for me since I am not extremely tech savvy, as you can probably determine from this video. So we're gonna get started here. we are going to install. Now that I have all of my parts except for my case. So I'm gonna pull this up here. I have already downloaded this step of the process, and I believe I got a couple other steps completed on the way as well too. Yep, the next step, you'll download the Boolean etcher. So what we're going to be doing is moving the Umbrel file onto the micro SD card. So Boolean etcher allows us to do that. And here we are, as you can see, already downloaded there. So just follow the steps. If you need help on that, let me know. Next, we're going to plug in the micro SD card into your computer. Here we are. I have my SD card, no name, right here. So I'm just going to give that a nice little name here. Okay. Good to go. We'll get that out of the way. So now we're going to open the Boolean Etcher app, and we're going to flash the zip file on the micro SD card. Applications, Boolean Etcher. Here we are. Open that up. Opening still. There we go. Downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes, let's open that. All right, flash from file. Flash from file. And I'm looking for the zip file. So here's just a tip for you. We need to flash the file, and according to the Umbrel site, we need the zip file. And what I did was, once it downloaded, I deleted the zip file, not thinking that we needed it. Luckily, that is just in my trash, so I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna flash from file, and we're gonna go to the desktop. There's my zip file. Open. I'm gonna select the target as reader media. Let's see what the hidden ones are. I'm not sure what those are here. Yep, so that should be the one there. We're gonna flash that with the app here. So, and we'll jump ahead here, and that should take a little bit. Put in my password. End of the validating here, as you can see. Finishing up. And one successful target. So it must have automatically ejected my SD card. So I am going to remove that now. So let's continue, and then the rest of these steps should be done wherever you're going to set up your node. So we will insert the micro SD card into the Pi. Now we have our data on our micro SD, and we're going to remove that. We're going to grab our computer, and you'll see the tiniest of little ports on the back, or on the bottom, I should say. And you'll just pop that right in, like so. We're all set. And we will move on to step 7. We're going to connect the SSD. So that will be done by our USB port here. And so we're going to put it in its enclosure. We're going to plug it in to any of the 2 USB ports. So let's do that now. We'll take out again our SSD card, our 1 terabyte. Obviously remove this before installing. You can expose your chips, just like this. Just like an old SNES cartridge. Make sure you got it flat to the edge here. All right, so our disk is in. Slide it back on like so. It'll snap. All right, so we're gonna get our USB. Again, we're doing this all before before we plug it in. So we got our USB in the insert there. Any of the two ports here. And I don't have my case for my Raspberry Pi yet, but that will be coming. I just want to get this set up and everything downloaded first, and like so. Make sure we have our micro SD that we flashed inserted before we start this process, and we are going to move it into the case. I just got a basic case here. It actually has a heatsink feature to keep our computer cool. What you're going to want to do here is make sure we're putting it in with the headphone jack first. It took me a little trial and error, but I'll save you a couple steps in case you're spatially challenged like me. Line up that headphone jack first and it'll slide right in. And let me save you another step. You're going to have the bottom on first. And every case is different. But I can imagine that a lot of them will be similar. Make sure everything's lined up, and I think we're ready to screw it in. USB cord goes in first, one of the blue inputs. Get it hooked up to your SSD. Ethernet cable next, and then that goes into your router. It'll snap in, and then we're going to be plugging in the power source, and we're going to use the proprietary Raspberry Pi power source. There's other mini USBs in case you got those. And we are ready to plug in and download the most powerful payment network of all time. So some people are hiding these in their closets, just out of sight, out of mind. There's a bunch of cords going everywhere. Some people want them out on display. There's a bunch of different options for display if that's what you're into. We are lucky enough here on Bitcoin Summer to have our first show sponsors in NodeNook. Go check out nodenook.com. You can save 6.15% right now using promo code BTB. Really, really cool handmade products here. A bunch of different designs. There's even a 4th of July one for us here in the US. As you can see here, 3 ports for your cords. Easy, super easy setup. They look amazing. Put in your USB first, then your power cord and your Ethernet cable. The rest is simple. I just have a basic SSD case here. I'm going to get a smaller one. This was very inexpensive. I'm going to get a much cooler looking one, and it'll actually fit on my shelf here. We have our SSD plugged in, we're ready, and our micro SD, and we are going to be ready to plug in the router. And then the next step after that, we're going to power up. That's it. That's step number 10, and we're all ready. After about 5 minutes, you can go onto this site here and connect your, on any device. You can do that on your phone as well, and you can connect to the same network as your Raspberry Pi and be able to access your node from there and start downloading Bitcoin. So let's jump into the troubleshooting section of our tutorial here. I had trouble getting in the umbrel.local address. It just did not work for me whatsoever. I kept getting the death spiral. I tried the Angry IP scanner. That did not work for my Mac. I don't know if you guys are going to run into that problem, but I sure had that. So a bunch of wasted time for me trying to download that. Another death spiral. So what I ended up doing was going into my router, and found out here that my Umbrel was actually, my router was reading my Umbrel, which is a good sign. So it's a pretty easy fix once you figure this out. It took me a long time. I'm hoping to save you all a couple steps here, and probably took me about an hour of troubleshooting to figure this problem out. Went on every community forum, just kept getting that death spiral. It just did not work. Popped right onto my router, found my IP address that was connected to my Umbrel. Copied that, pasted that directly into the browser, hit enter, and boom, we're in. Success. Let's hit the start button here. Never shared with a third party. Bitcoin Summer. Okay, I'm gonna block this out here. Don't peek, guys. Okay. And I'm gonna go through the steps and write down my secret words here. And we will meet you on the other side. All right. I'm super excited. Okay, so got my keywords written down here, my 24 words written down. I also copied the access. I can look up my node from anywhere remotely with a Tor browser. So I copied that onion link there. And now we are about to dive in. One last thing, don't be too reckless. Umbrel is in beta and should not be considered secure. So everyone needs to keep that in mind. But here we go, we're gonna go next. We get our celebration confetti there. Your Umbrel is now set up and synchronized. Really exciting. But you don't have to wait for the sync to complete. You can start using Umbrel right away. So we're going to use this neutrino, and while the sync is going, it's going to sync up to every single transaction on the open ledger, and then it'll automatically switch to the Bitcoin core, and therefore we will be running Bitcoin on my family's router. So pretty exciting stuff. So let's go to the dashboard here and just get in here. Good afternoon, Bitcoin. And you can see we are synchronizing here. And I don't have any sats. I don't have anything going on, obviously, over here. Here's the Bitcoin core. These are the blocks coming in right now. And so what's happening here is that all of the transactions from day one are getting downloaded onto the computer, and this is just showing you, this will slow down once everything gets downloaded, but this is just showing what is actually getting downloaded to your personal node. So you can check out the hash rate here, blockchain size. You can check out the Lightning network. You can see, let's see, you have no channels. So we're gonna talk about opening channels and getting everything set up because I still don't fully understand any of that stuff. So I am pretty excited about that. So we have Lightning Network version 0.12.1, that's in beta. We have Bitcoin Core, which is not in beta. That's around 12 years old. So version 0.21.1. We can connect my wallets on here. So we will go through that. You got the App Store here. I'm going to definitely do the Sphinx relay and set that up for the podcast. And that way we can accept Lightning payments in real time through the Sphinx chat. So that's a cool feature. And I will get a video out on that specifically. Let's see, Lightning Terminal, all this other good stuff. So pretty damn cool. I am super excited to dive into this. We have, let's see, a new version is now available to install. So I'm going to install that right now. I don't have anything set up, so it's a good time to do this right now. I'm going to start the update. Here we are. We're backing everything up. Please do not refresh this page or turn off your Umbrel while the update is in process. So good to know. Let's do a troubleshooting update here. Right around 50% sync, right around noon today. It's now around 11 p.m. I couldn't log on to the Umbrel, and I thought it was another router problem that I had earlier during setup. So I tried to figure out the router issue, and nothing worked. It was very frustrating. So that was around 11 hours of downtime while we sank. And as you can see here, there's a blinking, flashing green light. That was not happening. And so that's a surefire way to tell that you are not getting any data coming in to your Pi. I wish I had known this and I could have just reset the Pi right off the bat instead of spending 11 hours trying to fix a router. This was a solid blue. The SSD was a solid blue, and now it's blinking, so now we know that it's working. And literally all I did was just unplug the Pi and plug it back in. I was extremely worried about the sync resetting, and I couldn't find anything online about if you can just unplug your Pi or not. And obviously I couldn't get into the interface because I couldn't log into the Umbrel. So on your router, the output that is going into your Pi, you want to make sure that that light's blinking as well. That means data is coming in. If it is not, you are stalled, you are hung up, and you're going to want to unplug it and replug it back in. And I can assure you it's safe, and I'll show you in just a second. So here's the update. Now I'm on my phone, and I'm going to the link directly to the IP address for my Umbrel. I'm going to click on that here and see if everything's okay after I had waited 5 minutes while my Pi reset. Here we are, I'm back on. So I know that we're working now because I could not even log on to my Umbrel. And here we are. Let's double check and make sure that our sync did not stall out and reset. Nope, we are still above 50% of the Bitcoin Core synchronized, and that is fantastic news. I am just so happy I didn't have to restart. I did miss out on 11 hours of download time, but no matter, we have a low time preference here at Bitcoin Summer. So thanks for tuning into the video today. Everything went well. This is an update after everything downloaded and I got everything synchronized. And we are going to be doing some other videos as far as channel setups and setting up your podcast for the Lightning Network. please be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to our YouTube page and go visit us at BitSummerRip on Twitter. Thanks a lot for checking out the video.